How you guys doing? Everett Schilling here again. I would like to talk to you a little bit about further education, the system, the mentorship, and just structure. How to structure your business, how you're going to get that structure to be able to do it. And we've developed a building depth book to teach you how to do that and how to correctly go about building this business. First thing is you got to sell out to it. You know, and I talk about that all the time and stuff. I was one of those guys that thought, heck, if I could build buildings, all this kind of stuff, that I could sure build something like this, and I couldn't. I had to finally sell out to it and go 100%. When I found that out, then I start climbing those ranks. Now, let's talk about this part here. The system itself is show 15 or more presentations a month. And what is a presentation? It's showing the ABC primetime. And tell your story, the company story, and how we get paid. That's it. That's it. If you want this business, you want to build it faster and larger, then the key word on this whole thing is more. Right there at the very top. More is what you need to do. Now, attend all events. Treat it as a priority. Okay, we know about these things way ahead of time. You know, schedule it out and stuff to be able to do that. I worked a lot of hours and was able to figure out how to squeeze these in when I could to be able to get that education because I wanted this bad. I really, really wanted it bad. So register for all events, Life Vantage Academies, Elite Academy, global conventions, building depth, everything you possibly can to get the further education that you need and the extended educations from these Elite Academies and global conventions. They're that important, all right? Listen to every pro audio. Every one of them. There's going to be something in those that'll click with you. Now, always do what you say you're going to do, and what's that supposed to mean? When you say or when you tell somebody you're going to go somewhere, don't come up with excuses because you don't feel like doing it that day. A lot of people are dependent on you. Do what you say you're going to do and follow through that. Now, stay in control of your business. Here's what's important about that part. If I call somebody to come to my house, I have no control of that whatsoever. And you're going to get people that things are going to come up, they're not going to show up, all right? But I have control when I go somewhere else. When I go to them, I have 100% control of what's going on. So don't give up on things by saying, well, I just can't get anybody to come to my house, or I can't get anybody to come listen to me. Well, you can if you go to them. So always stay in control of your business, even when you don't feel like doing it, all right? Now, don't take something away from somebody. Make sure that you don't give up the power too soon with somebody. In other words, what I'm saying is, you know, hey, here's a book, you know, go learn it, live it, eat it, sleep it. Don't call me. Make sure you stay attached to somebody for quite a while until they take the torch away from you. That's super important. Promote. Don't send a text or email to somebody and say, hey, we got some events coming up, go to it. Don't do that. Make sure you call them or you go to them face to face and you talk to them voice to voice and ask them what they want out of this and get them involved. Be part of that, okay? And the two of you sign this. Just kind of sign a little agreement between each other, and it'll bond you. There'll be a bond there from that. Now, presentations. How do I do a presentation? It's very simple. If you're way out in the middle of the nowhere, you feel like you're kind of on your own, or you're the first one in an area, which congratulations, by the way, if you're the first one in that area to do this. I know what that's like. It's exciting. And even if you're not, it's still exciting. Tell your story, your name, your background, what you don't like about your current situation, what bothers you about that you found a solution to that. And here's what I'm excited about. I come across something to fix that problem. I have no time in my life. I'm looking for time, and I've come across something that's going to get it back for me. See where I'm going with this? Company story. Publicly traded, ABC Primetime is the great way to tell the company story. Just show that, all right? Retail, the network marketing, 2009, and it's a nutrigenomic company, basically. We biohacked the aging code. Very, very simple. Now, how do we get paid? You know what? There's so many different ways you can show the comp plan. There's tons of YouTube videos from a lot of amazing people out there, all right? Now, this is about profit. You want to go out and get 5 to 10 people in your business as fast as you can. Don't stop until you get those 5 to 10. And make sure that you do your $200 a month subscription. All right, that's the lifeblood of this business. I can't even begin to tell you how important that is. And you'll make a profit, I promise. You go out and do the work, you'll make a profit. 5 skill sets, the invite. I have an idea I want to run by you. What time works for you? 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock? Mind if I swing by? Here's the thing. You're always going to have 1 or 2 people cancel on you. Don't answer it. Just go do it. Go to them anyway, okay? People are scared. They don't understand what's going on, all right? They think you're a salesman, and they're going to block that a little bit. You're sharing information. That's it. That's all you're doing. A presentation to them, tear-off sheet, napkin. Man, I've even wrote on my hand before. So whiteboard, Zoom. Learn how to overcome obstacles. Positive with a positive, not negative with a negative. All that does is bow people up. Make sure it's positive when you overcome that. Follow-ups are super important. 80% of people they sign up on the 5th time you talk to them, but only 2% of people will do that. Took months before I got on board. Months and months of talking back and forth. If she would have let me alone after the first time I said no, I would have never got in this business. And I appreciate her calling me many, many times until my wife and I finally made that decision. Okay? Close. Point blank questions, get point blank answers, all right? Never leave a meeting without asking the point blank question. That's how important that is. Now, this part right here, this is how we structure our business. Remember I said get 5 people. You start out with you, and then every time you sign somebody up, you put them in the circle, and then you grab them and you engage them as fast as you can, and you need to start building depth. Each time you find a leader, sign their name into the top, and you show them how to do this. You go out and you start showing them how to fill in their circles below them so they duplicate what you did. That's how you structure this business, okay? Now, let me show you an example here. Here's Marcel, which is the head of our organization, him and Tyler. And these are different lines of people that came into his organization, which led to these particular people. There are people above that. There's people in between that. Let's just use one. Let's use Marcel here to Clint. That's part of my organization, my upline and downline. So Clint went to Tony eventually, and there was a whole bunch of people recruiting him. Eventually, it led to Marilyn. This is the girl that eventually got me into the business, and I hadn't talked to her in 31 years. I went to high school with her. I'd hate to date myself, but way back in the 70s, I went to school with her, only knew her 3 months, and I ended up with a private message from her, and it eventually led to me getting in the business, my wife and I, and eventually led to Sherry, another pro 8 in the business. So you see that where this is going, how big of a deal it is. Now, I'll show you how really big deal that is. Remember, this pays on percentages, okay? Now, if you fill 5 people in here and you help them people and you start building like crazy, if you got 5 there, this will eventually turn to 25, 125, 625 people, and 125,000 a month that's going through that. That's how big of a deal this is. It's huge. This is how you structure a business. The ones that say no, don't worry about it. It's education. It's tuition. That's how you learn how to teach other people. You've got to get your nose to be able to understand how to do this business, all right? You can't get through them. You can't get through education without learning how to fix it, all right? Leaders and followers. This is a huge thing. I'm not going to read all these. You can read them yourself. Use tough love. Use soft love, okay? Followers will always tell people what they want to hear and not what they need to hear. And you can do that in the right way. You can do it diplomatically. You don't need to be obnoxious. Leaders always lead by example. They do the work, okay? They don't manage. You can't manage this business. Those are just a couple of them. There's a whole bunch of those in there. Now, look at that. It just expanded to a whole bunch more. All right. Now, remember these links, and I talked about these earlier also, but in this one here, make sure that you attend every event. You get the educations from the 3rd Saturday of each month when we do Life Advantage Academies. They'll fly somebody in the business that's doing $100,000 a month in gross volume or more. They're doing $100,000 a year in income and more. Some of them are even doing $1 million, all right? And these people are there to teach you and how to do the business, give you the nuts and bolts. Not philosophy. Are going to teach you exactly how they got there and give you the nuts and bolts on how to do this. Now, here's the trick to that whole thing. All of them, from your LVAs to building depth events in St. George quarterly, to corporate events for extended learning. The thing about these things is the trick to it is make sure you make the phone calls and the face-to-face conversations with people and get them signed up to go also. The more people you bring to these events, the faster they're going to understand the support they have and how to build this business. All right? So Life Vantage Academy, treat all these. Actually, you know what? Treat all these as a priority. So with that being said, I love this one right here. Most people give up just before they've reached their dreams. Don't do that. Keep going, keep building. Eventually you'll figure it out and you will be able to build your dreams.